you and I. Hello everyone, dear friends, you are on the Melonfonk channel. In this video you and I are going to talk about the new best mini games in Melon Playground. But before we start, I want to say a huge thank you to these guys right here who made it into this video. And if you want to be in my next video, just do a few pretty simple things. 1. Subscribe to the channel. 2. Put a like under this video. 3. Write a top comment of 3 words or more so that it can make it into my next video. Well, fulfill the conditions, it's very simple. Enjoy watching. So, dear friends, today I went through the whole workshop and found the coolest mini games that you will definitely like. Accordingly, I bought them and tested them. Let's go through them all in order. This game is called Target Game or just Catapult if easier. In fact, a very nice and cool mini game that you can play with your friends. Personally, I really liked it. You can put 2 of these targets and basically together with a friend to launch Melon. It's a cool actually mini game how it works. You just put a melon or any other item that you might like in this catapult and then you just launch it. Then the melon lands in one of the cells. Depending on the cell you get some points on your balance. Such targets can be put 2 and essentially play together with a friend. Play let's say up to 100 points and thus pass your time. All in all a really cool mini game that you should download and try. It costs quite a bit, so I recommend it. Let's give each mechanism and each mini game today to rate. I will give this mini game 9 points. Cool idea and cool execution. I really liked it. Write in the comments, let's see what grade among the commenters will get this construction or this mechanism. Basically call it what you want. I will put 9 points. I generally liked it. The author did well. The author came up with a cool idea and cool execution of this mechanism. By the way, guys, I will remind you that I also have my own works in the workshop, and the first work was already published. Also I will soon publish the second work and they are quite inexpensive. The first job is a potato, a new NPC that I personally like very much. To find this work, just search for Melonfonk, it will basically give out my profile. You can download absolutely any work that comes out from me. If you do not want to buy this work, just put likes, add it to your favorites, I will be very pleased. Well, let's just move on to the next mini game. The next mini game is this weird maze. The gist of it is, you need to defreeze the syringe that's on the screen right now and reach essentially through this maze to the melon itself. And once you get to the melon, you've essentially won the game. Everything is controlled by this sort of peculiar joystick. Basically, the syringe flies and you need to control it and reach the end. Everything is actually very simple and the game takes place in one go and literally in a couple minutes. Overall, a simple pretty mini game, but fun and why not? Really just lacking in complexity. If you're the author see me, just try a little harder. I'm going to give this game a 5. Very overall interesting game, but very short. I think you'll agree with me. Well, let's move on to the next mini game. The next mini game is a table soccer game. In general, this mini game is only for one character, that is, in fact, you can play only you. The point is, you need to score the ball in the gate, but to prevent this will be this thing that flies from left to right and will prevent you in every way to score the ball in the gate. Just, I would like this thing or was longer or was just faster, but the idea is very good. Overall, if you want to pass your time, you can tap the goal ball and it's generally very addictive. More points, in fact, you can score yourself, because it's still a game for one and for this thing to score you, you need to be very crooked and try to do it. I am crooked by the way and really almost lost to this brick, but again it's kind of a joke. Anyway, how it works. Any object, even if you accidentally touch your goal line, then lights up and adds 1 point to you or minuses you accordingly. I think you absolutely understand how it works and overall a pretty good mechanism. I give it 7 points. I would like a little bit of variety. I don't know what I'm missing, like something is missing, but overall it's a cool game that I recommend. And let's move on to the next mini game. The next mini game is also quite strange. Today we already had a similar one at number 2. In general, the essence is quite simple. Your task is to reach the NPC with a syringe. All this works with the help of a generator, a couple of chips and basically everything. In general, everything is pretty simple. There are more obstacles, that is, this game is already a little more difficult. And there are things that mill the syringe, and if your syringe is frizzed, you lose. I'm just going to show you how it works. Alright, so that's how we're just flying along, little by little, and as you can see I hit this thing that mills my syringe and I basically lost. But I don't want to replay because the game is pretty boring and drawn out after all. That's the problem with this minigame, is that it's really overly drawn out. If the last minigame was too simple, then here it is just too stuffy. In general, the idea is again very cool and here you can work with it, but you should try to realize the mechanics of the game and in principle the component visual, because it looks very strange and ugly. So if you're an author watching me, there's a lot of room to move, you have a base and just try to do a lot better, because it's still kind of bad. I give it a 5 again. And I think that's a lot. Of course you can write your evaluation in the comments, but I'll give it a personal 5 points. And let's move on to the next minigame. The next minigame is a game from the series of Squid Games. In general, very cool minigame, really look how visually it all looks beautiful. Well, just visually it's a canon, really very immerses you in the atmosphere of the Squid Game. I really liked it. Very cool that Violin by the way in the suit, if you can notice. The point is this. We see the indicator red light and green light. Accordingly, on the green color we can run, and on the red color we must stand. As soon as the green light comes on, we pull the lever that is to our right. As soon as the light turns red, we release the lever so that we don't get shot. What's the point? You have to get to the red line, which is the end. But if you start walking on red, you will be shot accordingly. Very cool game. That this is the best game that was today, and here I think you will agree with me, well, crazy cool. It's really just not to describe in words, as in this self-interesting game. In general, cool minigame. If you are bored in Melon Playground, you can download it and pass a few hours of your time, because it is really sticky, and to reach the end is not so easy. Realistically, you'll get farther away. I think you'll agree with me here, so let's move on to the next minigame. The next minigame is also from the Squid Games, Dalgan. The idea is quite simple. All you need to do is to use a needle to cut out a cookie. To do this is quite simple, in fact, really very easy to play this game for some reason. In general, you just cut the cookie, and if you have something failed, it starts again, or press the back button, and once you cut the cookie, nothing happens. Basically a really short mini-game for a couple minutes, but overall very promising. Author, you're still perspective, what you've really done is something interesting. I'll give it 6 points for its boringness, but it's really interesting in terms of, as a work cool, but as a mini-game pretty much boring. I think you'll agree with me here. Write in the comments what you think about it. And let's move on to the next mini-game. The next mini-game is air hockey, and here I immediately give it 10 points, because firstly, you can play this game in 2 with a friend, secondly, it has no problems and visually it looks quite nice, really bug-free. No problems, a good mini-game that you can play together with a friend. So what are the minuses? And there are no minuses. Which means it gets 10 points. And here I think you will definitely agree with me, well, really cool good, without any problem games. And I think that really you will agree with me, well, just look at it. It has everything you need to have a good time. Overall I enjoyed it immensely, as you can understand. Write the coolest mini-game today in the comments from 1 to 10 comments. I'll be very interested to know what you think, but that's the end of my video and thank you all for watching and good luck everyone. Bye bye and remember buddy, as always, I'll see you the other day.